Let's talk about my favorite Super Bowl commercial and marketing lessons that you can learn from the big game. I'm Alex Burkett, and this is the Outdoor Alliances podcast. Hey everyone, hope you're having a great Monday morning. I know for a lot of us, we're coming out of Super Bowl Sunday, and that's sort of the topic and one of the things that I want to talk about today. And, maybe you're like me and a little bit tired. I'm not feeling so great, so I apologize for my voice being maybe a little bit off. But nevertheless, I wanted to sort of come with a bit of a different topic, something that I usually don't focus on, which again is more of this pop culture content and talking about marketing in other industries and other places and how we can use that and really apply it to our campgrounds and come up with some better marketing strategies and solutions. So, coming out of the big game, I know commercials and some of the other things that surround the game itself is a bigger aspect of why a lot of us tune in and watch the Super Bowl. And, if you're like me and maybe lots of other people out there, this year's commercials really didn't pack a lot of the same punch as they do in previous years. And I was honestly quite disappointed coming away from that, even trying to search for marketing lessons and valuable content that I got from watching the Super Bowl itself. But I did come up with one really good commercial and example that I wanted to share with you, at least from a marketing perspective. This is not a funny commercial. Certainly, was not as good as some of the ones that I have seen in the past. But at the same time, I wanted to point this out and say, hey, rewatch this and really key in on some of the lessons that I'm about to share. And so that commercial was the Google Pixel ad that ran yesterday ahead of the big game, where you may have noticed a new feature that they were pushing in their hashtag fixed on Pixel. And they were really pushing this feature for Google Pixel cell phones that allows users to correct and optimize images after they've been taken. So whether it's a blurry photo that needs updating, or you're removing an object or something from the background, they wanted to highlight that their photo editing skills and what you can do with image editing is a lot more powerful than its competitors. And that brings me into position number one, which is trying to establish a good brand from this commercial and coming out and saying, Apple may have its brand, but we've got the features. And this phone and photo sharing and editing is something that's a lot more powerful, and why a lot of people make that purchasing decision and decide what cell phone to get. And so I really liked the way that they approached it from a light, sort of fun hearted way. They incorporated a lot of celebrities in this. I mean, they really tried to key in on the features themselves. And that brings me to lesson number two, which is they went for value added content. And that's one of the things that I'm sort of, as we head into 2023, pushing for a lot of park owners is focus on where you can add value and where you're able to convey this in your marketing, whether it's on your website, on a brochure, your park map, social media pages, whatever you're doing to market your park, make sure that this is a main focus, because that's really what I came away with from this commercial was, wow, this can add a lot of value to my life. And as somebody who does a lot of editing from photos and videos, the feature stuck out to me as being really cool. And their delivery was really what made me think about it and separate myself and say, wow, I might consider purchasing a Google Pixel for my next device instead of my iPhone because of this commercial and how it really highlighted the value driven content and the way that they're pushing this through their commercial. So I'll have the link below where you can go and rewatch this if you haven't seen this the first time. It's something that I want to, sort of point out and say, watch it again, key in on some of these things, and really look at how you can match this similarly in your marketing. Make sure that you're adding value, make sure that you're delivering content that's both funny, but practical, and that's something that people can remember. Obviously, we don't have celebrities or $7 million budgets to spend on a 30-second spot, right? But what we can do is take lessons from some of the most powerful marketing companies who are putting a lot of dollars and spend behind this and saying, what can we do to apply this to our own situation? And how can we use this to improve our marketing? And so when you're thinking about this, think about that as you apply advertising, or even as you work with an agency. Figure out who's going to be able to deliver what you're looking for in marketing and make sure that their core values and how they think about delivering your marketing is really in sync. That's one of the biggest things that we found as clients who come to us who switch from another marketing agency or have never worked with an agency before come in and they're sort of scared, thinking through, who can we trust with this, and how do we know that we're getting a good product and a good return on the money that we're investing. And that's one of the things that we try and point out is, look, we're aligned in our core values. We know how to deliver this content and this information, and we know that this is something that can help improve your branding, that can just set you up for more consistent marketing materials, and then really is the ultimate value add for your customer. We want to make sure that we're keying in on that first, and that we're giving them a reason to choose us over our competitor. And that's really what that Google Pixel ad did for me, is I didn't even think about my iPhone that I already have. In fact, when I first got done with that, I thought, wow, that's a really powerful feature. That's a really compelling reason. Maybe think about it that way. If you're a park, what's that compelling reason for you? What's that one thing that you can highlight in every piece of marketing material? Maybe it's your location. Maybe it's the renovations that you're doing in this off season. Maybe it's things that you're working on right now that have yet to be released, but that you really need to key in for this next year and say, what is the reason that somebody's going to choose me instead of my competitor? And I think that often goes missed, and we don't think about that. We just think about, oh, I'm doing my thing. I have my customer base. They're going to come to me no matter what. I've got my built-in base. What do I need to do to attract new people? And it's giving people a reason to choose you, and giving people more of those reasons rather than more reasons to steer them away and go somewhere else. So if you just think about, how can I add value? How can I bring people into my world? How do I get them to choose me instead of choosing my competitor? You're going to be set up for long-term success moving forward. So I'll keep this episode short today. Like you, I'm pretty tired from yesterday, but I wanted to share this information and just set you up to think about this and think about what marketing lessons can you learn from watching Super Bowl commercials, whether it's incorporating humor, incorporating value, thinking about it in maybe a unique way, and using this Google Pixel commercial. It really was something that stuck out to me, even, sleeping on it into this next day after the commercials were over, and thinking about what was the one that stuck out in my mind. And that's the reason it stuck out, is because of the value add and the way that it spoke to me and connected to me as a consumer, who is potentially, again, looking for maybe a new device or something that can help with photo editing down the line. So if you think about that messaging and the way that you communicate with customers and how you can directly speak to the consumer, put yourself in their shoes. As somebody who's worked in campground operations just like you, I know what it's like to have to deal with that and what types of questions customers are asking. If you can pre-answer that in your marketing materials, and you can really try and figure out, how do I write and how do I deliver marketing for consumers instead of just for me, you're really going to be set up for success down the road. Thanks, everyone. I hope today's episode was pretty valuable for you and you got a lot out of it. We'll see you back here on Friday for another great marketing episode. We're going to be talking to NIA Outdoor Hospitality Brokerage on the real estate market, how interest rates are affecting things, and just getting a look at the industry from the real estate market, whether it's a good time to buy, a good time to sell. I'm going to really revisit that and let you know, as things continue to change and as the Federal Reserve raised interest rates 1/4 point here recently, how does that affect you if you're in that position? And really talk to them and get their perspective on how the real estate market's going and how that's impacting parks. So I hope you'll join me back here on Friday for that episode. And until then, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Outdoor Alliances podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe for more podcasts on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I'll see you back here for another great episode. I'll talk to you soon.